So, yeah, this is not ideal for the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White has basically said that it's unlikely that Lexie Hull, Ty Harris, or Aliyah Boston are going to play in their game. And you might be wondering, it's like, oh, that shouldn't make too big of a deal. Or it shouldn't really matter too much. It's not a regular season game. They will be playing if it's a regular season game. I'm not saying that they're not going to play game one of the season. I think all three of them probably do play game one of the season. And I understand there is precaution. But, like, I'm just scared for the severity of, like, with Lexie Hull's tightness, you don't want her to play through that. I'm scared for what was the original severity of Aliyah Boston's injury from Unrivals. That's kind of what I'm worried about more so than anything, because I'm like, okay, Aliyah is still currently out. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, they might, will be cautious. I think the goal is to probably get some of the minutes on Saturday if we can. They're playing the Nigerian national team on Saturday. The game on Saturday is not even against the WNBA team. So they are. The likelihood is that Ty Harris, Lexie Hull, and Aliyah Boston's first time playing against the WNBA team will be game one of the season versus the Dallas Wings. And, like, look, I'm not saying, oh, Aliyah Boston's going to be hurt or Lexie Hull's going to be hurt for the season. It is just a little bit of a concern to what actually, like, is the severity of their injuries. Because, again, I don't know. Like, we don't know how bad it is. But it's not ideal not having any practice going into the season. I think everyone will tell you, preseason is there to get reps up. Preseason, you're there is where you get your misses out of the way. Preseason is where you get rid of the rust. And that's not going to happen for potentially two of Indiana's starters. The likelihood is that, like, Lexie won't be starting to start the season. That would be my assumption. If Aliyah Boston is, like, if Aliyah is going to start no matter what, but if Lexie and Sophie is a close enough match as is, I do feel like with it being close that it would be quite unlikely to see the player who has been injured playing over the player who's been healthy. But yeah, it is. Look, it's not, again, this isn't the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world now. It meant nothing them missing the first game. However, if they end up missing all three preseason games, and I understand the games as individuals mean nothing, but they are there to prep you coming into the season. And this is an Indiana Fever team that needs to start off well. Like, if the Indiana Fever are hovering around 500 after 10 games, that's when you start to get concerned, because they have a really easy first 10 games where they face I think they faced the Fire twice and the Mystics twice. The Mystics stink, the Fire stink. But at the same time, I'm just hoping that it is nothing. I'm hoping that it's nothing. I'm hoping that it is just being overly cautious. And again, like last year, they would have been overly like they shouldn't have let Caitlin Clark play in the preseason. That being said, like, it was a legitimate injury. So there was still concerns of her going into the season out of that in preseason. I know you're looking at it now and it's like, there are still, like, if you're missing preseason games, you're missing all the preseason games. There is a concern there. There absolutely is a concern. And I'm not saying, oh, they'll be missing the season. I'm just saying there absolutely is some concern. However long it takes, even into the regular season, don't rush them back. And I actually agree with that. I'm not saying they should be rushed back. But the whole, oh, we're not playing, they're not playing, they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them, we're just being cautious. Even if that is the case, and it probably is the case, there is a, like, being cautious means you have to reason to be cautious. Which means obviously their injuries are a little bit, or coming back is a little bit. There's no need to force, if they aren't fit for Saturday, let them reserve from the bench. No point rush. I agree with this. I actually agree. If we assume their holds are precautionary, it does make sense. Some wins on Saturday with 8-day layoff between games, recover and rest. I mean, the problem is that they're coming into a WNBA regular season without any reps. That is where the issue is with them missing these games. And look, at the end of the day, if they're carrying anything or they're not 1,000% good to go, sitting them out is better. Is better than trying to get them reps. But there is also a concern with the team coming in with potentially 2 starters. Potentially 2 starters missing or somewhat compromised. Like, it's not an ideal scenario. And again, we do have to look at the Indiana Fever's schedule, because players missing all of preseason, it doesn't bode well for starting the season strong. Like, it doesn't, just getting reps in, it helps. Again, I think the Fever are going to be fine. The Fever are lucky, and maybe this is the way they're looking at it. They're like, look, we don't have a difficult start to the season. Like, we don't have a difficult start to the season. We're confident, even if you're, Aliyah, if you're not 100%, Sophie, if you're not 100%, sorry, Lexie, if you're not 100%, we're confident that we can beat Dallas, or we can at least go 4-1 to start the season. Like, Dallas, Mystic, Storm, Fire. Like, if the Indiana Fever are not 3-2 minimum, they should be 4-1. You give them one loss against Dallas or LA, especially because they do tend to struggle. The Fever do tend to struggle in the 10:30 Eastern, 10 Eastern. This is a 10:30 Eastern time game. They really do struggle in those games, in the road trip games that are at that time. So you give them one loss in these 2 games, and then 3 easy wins. Maybe you're looking at that win. They're like, look, we have an easy start to the season. We can get you reps in those games. But there is always that there's always that little bit of like a lack of a trust, I would say, between like between the injury reporting and the fans after last year, after them flat out lying about Caitlin Clark's injury, saying that she actually she never had an ankle injury, and then when it got revealed that the ankle injury was pretty bad, they then released a literal PR statement to say that the ankle injury actually didn't affect her return to timeline, which is why they never told anyone. Then after the season, Caitlin came out and said the reason she didn't play at all was because of the ankle injury. So yeah, it's always a bit of a weird one there. But at the same time, look, I'm hoping this is nothing. Probably is nothing. And I hope she holds them out Dallas or Saturday too, so rookies can get more PT to prove themselves for this team and other teams. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be playing the tall 6'4" rookie, because they tried to hide her the last game. So I think they're going to keep trying to hide her. So yeah, anyway, that's the video. See you guys.